Hi, Ben here from Trident Fly Fishing, and I'm here with the all-new Winston Air 2 for our first rod review of 2021. Stay tuned to see how it does. The all-new Winston Air 2 is their premium do-everything series that replaces, unsurprisingly, the old Winston Air. And the Air was a moderately fast, very Winston-feeling rod, and I'm interested to see how this casts and if the new Air maintains the same sort of Winston feel and performance that the old Air does. But first, like we always do, we're going to walk you through the features on this Air 2. Starting from the bottom, we've got a classic Winston look with a nickel silver reel seat and a burled wood insert. It looks really, really nice. And that feeds into the classic Winston cigar grip. It's really nice, definitely on the smaller side, so if you have really large hands, this might not be the choice for you. And of course, Winston green blank. Winston is known for having the finest craftsmanship on their production rods. They're absolutely up there with anything in the game in terms of production rods, and this one is no different. A green stick absolutely means something there. Moving on up, you'll notice the standard serial numbers on the ferrules, and a pretty standard stripping guide, followed by what Winston calls light wire snake guides. And the idea there is that they produce less friction than a heavier gauge standard snake guide. Pretty cool. But this Air 2 is pretty much standard Winston. It looks a lot like every other Winston, which is sort of the point. How it casts is totally different. So let's get out in the field and show you how it does. And don't forget, this video, like all of our videos, is supported 100% by your purchases at tridentflyfishing.com. So keep them coming and we'll keep our videos going. Starting at our first trout distance of 30 feet, this Winston Air 2 is spectacularly accurate. In fact, I'm willing to go as far as saying that it is the most accurate 9-foot 5 weight I have ever cast at 30 feet. Because it's got that softer, more moderate action, you get lots of feel, lots of feedback, and of course, lots of accuracy. It's definitely one of the best all-around rods in close. Moving back to 45 feet, you can tell that this is the distance it was designed for. It's still really accurate, provides just enough power and feel, but at the same time, you're still going to be able to deliver that dry fly nice and accurately. Now, it's worth saying that even at 45 feet, you can feel that this is not going to be the all-around performer or super fast action rod that Sage's and Loomis's and really most of the 9-foot 5 weights on the market are. This is a softer, more delicate, dry fly oriented rod. Sure, you could do some odd nymphing with it for sure, but it's definitely going to be designed for that dry fly fishing. Then as we move back to 60 feet, this is really pushing it for the Air 2. If everything goes right, you can definitely get some decent accuracy, but you're going to have to slow down that casting stroke, make sure you're not overlining the rod, and in a pinch, it'll work, but it's really much more of a short distance rod. I would say 60 feet is going to be really the absolute maximum usable distance, unless you're just chucking line out there. So as you can see from our casting, while Winston talks about this rod as being an all-arounder, it's really not. I see this as more of a competitor to the Scott G Series in the 9-foot 5 weight, and it is truly a moderate action rod. Maybe medium fast, but it's absolutely softer than the NRX LP and Douglas Sky G that are sort of in that moderate fast realm these days. It's definitely faster than the Winston Pure and probably any of the truly moderate marketed rods. Overall, in terms of action, this sits on the fast end of moderate, I would say. It's not going to be a rod that you're going to want to chuck streamers with. It's not going to be a rod for your big, heavy double nymph rigs. It's definitely more, at least in this 9-foot 5 weight size, it's more of a dry fly, occasional single nymph, maybe some light hopper dropper. Going to be much better for close-in work than it is for anything afar. I would also suggest lining this true to line weight. So while we really like the MPX line, this is going to require something a little bit more delicate. We used Rio In Touch Gold, which no longer exists, but I think something in the Rio Gold, or probably better yet, the Winston Energy line is going to be perfect on this rod. Again, if you're looking for a short range dry fly rod with a little bit of versatility, this is going to be the rod for you. If you're looking for a true all-arounder, do everything, there are probably going to be better options in the Winston lineup. Now onto the Poseidon Score. Starting with accuracy, this Winston Air 2 is phenomenal at short and medium distances, but definitely suffered at longer distances, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Up next is components, and this is finished really, really well. It's got nothing but the finest materials, and it gets a 9.5 out of 10. Up next is distance, and this is not a distance rod. For an all-around 9'5" weight, it is especially poor, and it earns a 6.5 out of 10. Grip, I really like this grip. The cork is immaculate, as you'd expect from Winston, and it earns a 9.5 out of 10. Up next is looks and workmanship, and this is where Winston really shines. And as with all the Winstons, more or less, this one earns a 10 out of 10. Swing weight, this comes in at 63 and change gram meters squared, which is definitely not a super light rod, particularly a super light moderate action rod, but it's decent in the overall scheme of 5 weights, and it earns a 7.5 out of 10. In terms of value, this Air 2 retails for $1,095, and it's really hard to say that it's a great value. There are lots of rods out there that do everything this rod does for less money, but they're not as pretty, and you don't get the same sort of feel, components, and soul, if you will, behind them, and it gets a 6 for value. Cool factor, this rod was sort of released a little bit under the radar, but that said, it's a new Winston. I'm excited to get mine, get out and fish it, and it's taken us a really long time to even get a demo, so it's pretty popular, and it earns an 8.5 out of 10. All in all, that leaves us with a total Poseidon score of 65.5, which puts this rod a little bit below the NRX LP and the Douglas Sky G as all-around, moderate-ish 9'5" weights. Still, this is a well-done rod and a great package, and one you should check out if it's the right fit for the kind of fishing that you do. Let me know what you think about this new Air 2 by leaving a thumbs up and a comment in the box below. I'm Ben, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.